Hey, we're live. I'm Jeff with eBay Addicts, and today my special guest is Hustlin Hooks. How you guys doing today?
Hey, doing well, Jeff. How are you today?
Yeah, we're good. Thanks for having us.
Good. Yeah, thanks for hanging out, man. Yeah, I actually ran into you guys when Profit Monster streamed the other day, and I was actually on YouTube, and YouTube algorithm recommended my channel to you guys the other day. So it's just kind of coincidence that YouTube recommended me your channel, and then we just ran into each other in the live stream. So do you want to tell people who you guys are and where you're from and what you guys do? You want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so we're a husband-wife reseller team out of Michigan. Would you say Midwest Michigan? Midwestern part of the Midwest. And Dean works full-time. I work part-time. We have a 14-month-old daughter, and we are building a six-figure reselling business on the side and hope to turn it into our full-time business at some point.
Awesome. Now, how long have you guys been reselling now?
We actually started basically when our daughter was born, so it's fantastic because we'll never really forget when. So about 14 months.
Yeah.
Awesome. So in 14 months, I watched some of your YouTube videos, and I saw you guys have been killing it lately. I saw one of your videos recently, said you made like $9,000 in sales in 1 month, and that's doing that while working a full-time job, and you guys are still, taking care of your kids. You're doing other things besides just sitting home listing all day, right?
Yeah.
We
sort of fit eBay in around everything else. So it gets pretty hectic around here for sure.
Yeah, we're maniacs. That's the best way to put it. So we made reselling part of our lifestyle. So for us, we operate on a zero excuse basis, and on average in the last 4 months, we sell about $10,000 in gross monthly, and we take home a net profit between $6,000 and $7,000 a month.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Well,
yeah,
that's really good.
Trying to push that further.
Yeah, I was going to say most resellers are usually around 50% profit margin. So if you're doing above 50%, that's really good. So
yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, what got you guys started, and when you first got started, what got you interested into reselling? Were you watching YouTube videos one day? Were you hanging out? Did you have like a friend or family that got you into it? How did you first get started into reselling?
Nope, I'll let you take that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So I've been looking for something where I can invest my time into and get rewarded by the amount of time and effort that I put into something. So I've been salaried for about 14 years, and I'm happily employed, but I really enjoy business and I really enjoy building. So I started by talking to a good friend of mine, AJ, and we talked about his father and how he flipped sports memorabilia. And that same day I hopped on YouTube and typed in what to sell on eBay for profit. And the same day on lunch, I went and started buying stuff at garage sales. And then we sold a TI-84 graphing calculator out of our closet for $60.
Yeah.
And just a spark hit in my head that someone just sent us 60 of their dollars for something that was in our drawer for like 3 years. And I was like, holy crap, this is something. And so our daughter's birth, we had like 2 listings. And yeah, here we are now. Like our initial goal when we first got started was to get an additional $500 towards our mortgage. That was August of 2019, and we ended up profiting like 10 grand towards the end of 2019, and we fully paid off our house in May of 2020.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys paid off your house?
Yeah,
Yep.
we're 100% debt free.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah. I was watching. I think I checked out your Instagram page, and it said you guys you're debt free. So that's awesome. I'm happy for you guys.
Hey,
yeah,
thanks.
thank you. It was a lot of hard work, but definitely worth it. We definitely are going to strive to never be back in debt for anything.
For sure.
I'm with you. Yeah, I've been pushing all year long trying to get my car paid off, and I finally did it. So it's just one of those things where you work and work and work at it, and then it'll finally hit you. I want to catch some guys in the chat. We got people in the chat room here. I want to say hi to Bearded Veteran here today. We got a Houston reseller in the house. He says, "Hey, Hustlin Hooks and eBay addicts." We got Ryan. We got Ryan. We got Ryan here. He said, "Finally caught alive." And he said, "I got the Houston reseller." He says, "Question for Hustlin Hooks: when did you find out about pots and pans were such a lucrative item to sell?"
That's a good question.
Yeah, just wanted to say a special hello to everyone. Ryan, good to see you. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to take that one?
I don't know that there was ever a specific moment. It was literally just we used like our whole formula with thrifting was going to the thrift store. If it looks like it might sell, look it up, check the sell-through rate. And for some reason, I couldn't tell you why we thought to look up pots and pans. We just did. No, it was a Revereware set on Facebook Marketplace. It was this huge set, and Dean looked it up, and he was like, "These sell for a good amount." And he did the math, and he drove a little ways to pick it up, and we laid it all out in our attic. And basically, since then, we never took pots and pans for granted.
Yeah, that set, I think we spent like $250 on, and we sold like way over $1,000.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was fantastic. So yeah, I mean that's our basic formula. Our most popular YouTube video is our the itself that helped us sell over 90,000, and it's just that sell-through rate and doing the supply and demand formula in our head and figuring out what's worth it or not. And I mean, hashtag pots and pans forever, man. It's the best.
Yeah.
Pots and pans forever. Well, if it works for you, and then there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, I was just surprised at some of the sell-through rate of pots and pans. So I want to take you guys back. So you first got started basically just selling stuff that you had laying around your house. Like you found a calculator you just had laying around in the house in a drawer, and once you sold that calculator for $60, you're like, "Hey, we can do this. There might be, this might be some potential there, right?" And so did you guys start hitting up yard sales and thrift stores and estate sales, or what did you guys do from there?
Yeah, that's exactly what we did. Jessica was 5 days old, and we were out garage sailing with her because the whole idea just looked like something that was fun that we could incorporate as a family, like as she got older in the summers too. So that was also partially appealing. So it was an incorporation of everything at that point.
Yeah, so the first 2 sales that we had on eBay were 2 calculators, one for 60, the other one for like 25 or 30, just different models. And then everything else was, thrifted, garage sale, etc. Melinda has been a thrifter since she was like a teenager. She's been buying secondhand and wearing secondhand clothing forever. So for her, it was pretty natural, where for me, I was always, I wouldn't buy much, but if I was buying something, it would be brand new. But I'm a relative minimalist when it comes to buying stuff, and so is Melinda. So for us, like, we don't really have a lot of stuff laying around the house to sell on eBay because we don't buy much for ourselves.
Not our personal stuff. We have a lot now.
Yeah, we have plenty now. We have like 34 grand in inventory, but yeah.
Well, now that you guys are debt free, you don't have a car payment, you don't have a mortgage to pay. Now you can really ramp it up because you got a lot more money you can reinvest to buy merchandise. Because I either get that from people to say either I can't find merchandise, or they say I don't have money to invest to buy merchandise. So you just gotta figure out where the give and take is. Somewhere in your budget, you have to figure out a way where you can reduce your expenses. Well, where I live in Florida, I have a roommate, and my rent is only $350 a month. So any kind of way that I can reduce your monthly expenses, then you have more money to invest to buy merchandise, to invest in your eBay store. So you got to sit down and your personal finances and your reselling kind of goes hand in hand. Because if your expenses are too high, then you're like, okay, now we've got to make this sell because we've got bills to pay. So right. So
and it only starts with one thing. Like, you only have to sell one thing lying around your house and flip it for a profit. And then you have to take whatever you make on that, and then you have to invest in something that's going to flip for more profit. So you just have to snowball it. So there's always a way. It might mean you're just starting out smaller than other people, but that's okay, because everybody starts out somewhere. It's the end result and what you can do with that snowball effect. And there's always a way to find goods, always a way.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just going to say that I saw your video where you found this item on the side of the road and you sold it for $80. So what I was going to say is, even if you don't have a bunch of money to invest, there's a way you can still get merchandise without spending a bunch of money. I mean, I bought video games at a thrift store for $0.25 and then sold them on eBay for 10, 15, $20. So you just got to get out and hustle and put the work in, and it's gonna come to you. I want to catch some guys some people in the chat here. We got Hannah is here. We had Ryan was here. We have the Houston reseller says we're always thrifting. Lone Star Picker is here today. The Girl Hustle is here. I don't know if you guys know Girl Hustle is in the house. And then I think we have Ryan is here. We got Drew from Profit Monsters. Where did you guys meet Drew at? Drew's the man. Where did you guys meet Drew at?
Yeah, so I met Drew. I was driving through Florida and he was hitchhiking on the side of the road. And,
oh, really? You picked him up?
Yeah, he had all these like rock band guitars with him, and I was like, all right. So I gave him a ride, and we got to talk. And next thing you know, we're doing raffles together.
Next thing you're in Michigan.
Yeah, you guys start doing raffles. Okay.
Yeah, he actually, I mean, he wanted to go just a town down, but then we brought him up north. No, we're kidding. We met Drew through Instagram. I actually reached out to him early on because he had like several thousand followers, and I gave him some free information about bread machines when bread machines were flying off. And I said, hey, look, these are selling really well for us. Look into it if you'd like to. And, you know, if you can give us a shout out on your page, as we're just starting to grow our social media platform. And he was kind enough to do so. And then, you know, fast forward to today, we talk at times at 2 o'clock in the morning about reselling. So Drew's a great guy, one of the hardest working people we know. Definitely. If you guys in the chat don't know Andrew, Profit Monsters on YouTube, he's just, he's full of energy, full of joy. And him and Joey, they do live streams together. I just said this the other day too. And if you're having a bad day and you just want to hang out with a couple of real guys that are just light and just want everyone to be good and happy, like those are the guys, you know, for sure.
Really good people, really good people.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lone Star Picker, for that comment. That's really nice. That's so nice.
Yeah. Yeah, he says, hello, you two. The best power couple. You two finally caught up with you. eBay Addict Show, he says, welcome. He says he's glad you're here. And so we have Lone Star Picker here. Girl Hustle is here. Profit Monster says, I can't believe you picked up that hobo. That's what he said. I was like, wow, he must be. Yeah.
Well,
I watched that movie.
Okay. We got a question here. It says, for Hustlin Hooks, did you always know you wanted to teach and help others and grow their business? How did that become about with Instagram and YouTube?
It was never like a planned thing. That was really just a very natural progression of, we always want people to do well. We always want people to be able to better themselves. Adin's always wanted to teach. Actually, when I first met him, he wanted to be like a professor. Yeah. And so it's just sort of a natural.
Yeah. When I used to live, so I come from a pretty hectic background, and I always, in my opinion, if I can personally, and now if we can, make one person a better person, that's going to snowball into a better neighbor, a better friend, a better brother, a better sister, and then someone else is going to catch on and say, hey, I don't really have to be a crappy person. I can be a better person. And for me, like going back to your no debt question, like one of the biggest stressors in this society we live in is debt. And so if you can reduce that, get away from it, you're going to be a happier person, and people around you will be happier. When I used to live in my parents' basement, in my bathroom, I actually with Sharpie wrote the words teach back in like 2006 above the mirror as a daily reminder of what I ultimately wanted to do. And I would, like I've said this before to other people, I don't care how many commas are in my bank account, how many zeros, because that doesn't mean anything to me. What means something to me is when I'm dying, I can look back and I can say I affected a community of people and I helped them better their lives, and that makes me happy. And of course, my own family, my own family's well-being makes me happy as well.
Yeah, and we don't subscribe to that scarcity mindset. We definitely think there's enough out there for everybody, so we don't feel that it hurts us.
Yeah, we don't
share
care.
Free knowledge.
Yeah, we're open textbook. You can look up our eBay store, Hustlin Hooks, just like our Instagram and YouTube. there's no reason, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we're just going to outwork you anyways. So we don't really care if you, you're not going to turn that's the reality.
Oh, I'm with you, man. Yeah, the other day when you sent me a message on Instagram, I'm like, yeah, I'll get the StreamYard together. I'm pulling orders right now. I'm like in the shed pulling orders. So I was like, I'll get everything set up. So I just wanted to say hi to the Bearded Thrift Machine for coming by. We got the Hustin reseller. Ryan is in the house and Lone Star Picker. So hang on. Profit Monster says Melinda is showing off that Patagonia. He says, why are you going to flex on us like that?
I got this for $8 on Facebook Marketplace.
Wow. All right. So I wanted to ask you guys, what are some of the niches that you guys look for when you're at a thrift store, you're at a Goodwill, or you're at a yard sale? What type of merchandise is it that stands out to you that you are looking for when you're going out there? Is it? I know you talked about pots and pans. Is there a certain like profit margin you're looking for, or what is it that you're hunting for when you're at these places sourcing?
We always try to hit hard goods first.
Electronics.
Electronics. We really like vintage appliances. Those always sell really well for us. Basically, we'll just do the whole hard goods section first, including pans, sometimes dishes, see if there's any Corningware over there. And then jeans and shoes are the big clothing ones we try to hit.
Yeah, as far as profit margin, over 2,400 transaction, our average net profit per sale is like $26. Our goal is consistently to get to $30 net profit per transaction. And of course, when we have those big, $300, $400, $500 sales, that's going to help our average. But if you look at our stores, we don't like cheap stuff. I think we have an item that's less than $10, and then everything else is going to be in that 25 to 35 plus shipping, and we offer free shipping and everything. So most of our items are 25, 30 plus.
Okay, and how many items do you have listed right now in your eBay store?
Just over like 850, 860.
Okay, and do you guys have you have like where do you store your merchandise at? Do you have like a basement or garage, or where do you guys store your merchandise at?
Right now in our basement and our garage.
Everywhere. I mean,
everywhere in our
house. Our life is very hectic and our house is very hectic. It's one of the sacrifices that we're dealing with currently to continuously sell. We just this summer put in a 10 by 12 by 10 high shed that I actually was just working on yesterday to get the shelving ready. That's going to be our personal storage, and then we're going to gut our entire attached garage, and that's going to be storage in there with a loft. And then we're going to turn our current eBay room into our office. And we also have a pretty big basement. Our house is very old, so we have an old canning cellar with a lot of shelving, so that helps us out tremendously. So most of it is in the basement.
Okay, I wanted to say we got a Profit Monster says I'm missing football for this interview while I'm listening. So he said he's missing his
Thursdays.
Yeah, and we got a question here from Lone Star Picker. He says, question for the power couple: what is the most challenging thing that you both think each answer that is something to work for, or as a team that is not obvious strength both of you guys have?
It's a great question.
That is a really good question. Do you want to go first, or do you want me?
You go first.
I would say something to work on is just our styles. We have very different styles, especially in communication with things that we actually are constantly working on. So Dean just has always been in a very supervisory role, and we've had conversations about, okay, well, if we're working together, how do I like to be talked as when I'm at work, and how to talk to Dean as a work couple, right? Because we always had separate jobs. So blending work styles into a relationship is probably the biggest challenge. I would say our biggest strength, though, is I would say actually a couple things. I definitely say the strengths outweigh the weaknesses, because we'll both catch details that the other person doesn't catch. And I'm a classic overthinker and Adine is not. So that's really helpful to have someone just say, okay, we have to let that go. That's in the past. Let's move on. As opposed to me who might just sit with it for a little bit longer.
Yeah. So she mentioned supervisory roles. So I've been managing teams for like 14 years, right? So the people at work have always been my associates. And so that's been an interesting transition. As far as like weakness, if you want to call it a weakness, for me, it takes me a long time, and it took me a long time, and it's still something that I constantly deal with, is that I am slightly uncomfortable if I don't know exactly every single thing about a certain listing. And that took me a little while in the beginning because, well, yeah, I have full trust and faith in my wife, but right, and that's something that I've always I told her several times early on. It's like, listen, this is something that I'm struggling with right now. Is this like full trust that it's going to be done right? And then I just continuously work on that. So as I get better and stronger, and she gets better and stronger, it's just easier and easier for me to just let go. And now there's several hundred listings that I've not even done it. Like I've not even I might have bought the item, but I've not processed it at all, and it's full on trust. And as far as strength, we have a vision, right? Our vision is kind of set in stone. We have business meetings as a married couple. That's different than, hey, honey, do you want to watch a movie? It's specific to what's going to go down in the next year, 3 years, 5 years. Where do we see ourselves, and what are we going to do about it? That is something that we're really strong at, and there's no confusion of what the next 3 years is going to look like for us.
Right.
And that for sure is a strength for us, and I definitely cherish that.
Okay, cool. You just said you were to talk about what your goals are. Do you want to talk a little bit more about what your goals are for the next 3, 4, 5 years from now? And also, how is it that you're able to balance, working a full-time job, raising a family, being on Instagram, posting YouTube videos, and still do your reselling business? Because not a lot of people can balance it. Because I'll tell you, like I do reselling, I work a job, and then I'm still trying to make consistent content and videos. It's got to be something that you got to kind of prioritize, or you got to kind of schedule it out. You want to talk a little bit about those two things?
I'll say my piece really quickly. I don't care about anything else besides my family and our financial future.
Yeah,
that's it. So I cut out everything else. There's nothing else matters to me. This is the fire that I have inside of me does not go dim. There's very rarely a time where I say I've had enough for today. I'm a maniac. There's no other way to explain it. Either you have that in you or you don't. I have it.
Yeah.
That's my short explanation.
I think it could be a little more balanced. I mean, I literally have stuff all over my house. But it's just, we sacrifice sleep and time and stuff. But I mean, we didn't go out to bars anyway with a kid, and with COVID, with the bars anyway. So as far as our time priorities, I mean, what else are we doing? We don't really have anything else to do.
Yeah, I mean, we're not. We just minimize the amount of time. It's not even like we sacrifice sleep. Yes, we do that. I don't recommend that for people. It's not a good thing. But it's not how many hours you don't sleep. It's what you're doing when you're awake. Most people are just not productive, either at their 9 to 5 or at home. They're not. And so that's something, like, if you're trying to figure something out for yourself, you just need to be more productive. Yeah. But there has to be a passion. If you don't like it, then keep trying different things until you find something.
And I think sometimes it's not always like a perfect balance. Sometimes it's sort of like we're so caught up in one area that we can see, oh my God, we have to keep clean, so we'll have like stop everything. This is what we have to redirect our focus on to catch up over here, and we try to keep it balanced on, of course.
Okay, yeah, so I have a question. So how do you guys, because I get emails and questions from people in the chat, or they'll send me emails and they say, well, how do you stay motivated to keep listing items and keep shipping? And also, how do you avoid getting burned out? Because there's some people that they'll start on eBay, they'll start making some sales, start making some money, and then 3 to 6 months later, you'll check in on them, and it's like their sales had fallen off because they weren't listing consistently. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'll just repeat what I said. I care about nothing else besides my family's well-being and our financial future. I mean, that's it. I can't motivate you if you don't want to motivate yourself.
Well, I think it's, as far as like the burnout, it's going to be different for every person. So I really like going outside and getting fresh air, like going for a walk or spending some time like in nature or whatever, or going to my parents or that type of thing. You do have to know your boundaries, I think. And we push them. We push our boundaries a lot. Like a lot of times we'll just go until one of us like crashes, basically. And then we have like a recovery period of 24 hours.
Yeah.
Which I don't recommend that for anybody. But I don't know, maybe it's like a bath or something. So you just have to keep in mind, like maybe on Sunday, you know yourself enough that you have to schedule 2 to 4 hours, or after 7 p.m. on this night, you're going to do something for yourself. So it's important to schedule yourself into
right
as well.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I had a question. You said earlier that you guys talked about what your goals are for the next 3 years. Do you mind sharing that? Talk a little bit about what your plans are with reselling and YouTube, like what you guys want to do in the next 2 to 3 years?
Yeah, sure. I'll keep it pretty brief because a lot of that we keep to ourselves. So we're building a business. As soon as we get the garage finished, there'll be some changes in one of us as far as what we do outside of our house as far as work, and then we're going to start looking into hiring some associates for some key roles, some of the day-to-day activities, and after that, the sky's the limit. We'll be continuously putting out quality content. That's our goal. And then within the next 3 years, we'll be in an RV traveling the United States and doing.
Really? Okay, that's interesting to me. I didn't think I could see you guys trying to upgrade. I didn't think that you were going to get like an RV and be traveling, but that's nice. I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's cool. I wanted to say hi to some people in the chat. We got Wendy here. I got Bearded Veteran. Hannah says she has a question. She wants to know, what is your best sell and what is your worst sell? And I wanted to say hi to Gilbert here. He says Eden is insane. That's what he says.
That's fair. I don't disagree.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. You want to answer the question in the chat? Says, I have a question. What is your best sell and what is your worst sell?
There's no worst sale. If there's we've canceled like 2 sales that we were not going to make any profit on, and what's the worst sale? Like there's several times where we've only profited like $5 or $3 when we're starting off. I don't really have a worst one. I don't know what our best one is. We've had a lot of really big ones. Sometimes
sales are good for different reasons. Like if it sells really fast for a good profit, that's a good sale. But our most expensive, like what we sold, most of, I don't know, like selling a Taz blow mold. Yeah, that was a reason I went back to this hoarder house. And
you want to tell them about the Taz, how much we bought and paid?
I mean, we basically paid nothing for this Taz, essentially, because at the end I was like, what about that Taz?
Do you want to tell them what the Taz is? They don't know.
The Taz was this huge 32-inch blow mold, this old vintage Christmas Taz blow mold. And it was just sitting on this porch when I went to go get something from Facebook Marketplace. And this lady had inherited this awful, terrible hoarder estate that she was just desperate to get through stuff. So we offered to come through a couple of days and bulk buy a bunch of stuff. And we ended up paying, I think, $170 for everything.
Yeah.
$170 for everything. And we've made like thousands off of this house. But I think of that Taz fondly because it's sitting on the porch was a whole reason that I thought she might have some good stuff in there.
Yeah, so that Taz, I think we
$500.
Yeah, it sold for $475. We paid. We have so many.
Oh yeah, that was a good one too.
So that we paid like $10 for it. Sold for $475 free ship. It cost $60 to ship. We sold airplane like a model kit for $650 with like a little cockpit that I paid $100 for.
I sold some Air Force Ones recently. Not the best profit, but I like Nelly, so I would just sing that song a lot. I enjoyed that sale.
Yeah, we've had a lot of like big sales, 500, 600, 400. We've had a good amount of them. Yeah. So we don't really it's the best.
Awesome. So I had a question for you. I think it was either on Instagram or YouTube. I saw recently, and you guys showed like how your sales were, for the first 7 months, and then the second 7 months you showed a big increase in sales. So
Yeah.
what do you want to talk a little bit about that? Did you guys list more items? Did you get better items that had better sell-through rate, or was it because you just reinvested your money to get more merchandise? You want to talk a little bit about that and explain the difference between your first 7 months and your second 7 months?
This is Toddy. If you guys don't know, Toddy is our dog.
Toddy wants to join a live
begging for
stream.
attention down here. Well, I think it's a combination of things. So the first couple months, you're just kind of figuring things out, and you're figuring what works for you and what doesn't work, and what your business model is going to be. And then the second 7 months, we obviously we had built up our inventory, consistently every month. It wasn't just like, boom, now we have 850 listings, but it was increasing steadily every month and getting, I would say, just better inventory because you were constantly improving. So I remember when we first started watching the garage sales, it's like, well, how do you know what to pick up? And how do you not look at your phone every time? But we can do that now. So it really is, if you're just starting, it really is, experience is your best teacher. You just get better at it the longer you do it.
Yeah, one thing too to keep in mind, like for anyone that's relatively new, like if you go to our Instagram page, I had posted, you have to scroll down a little bit. It's just a black and white picture of a whiteboard with numbers on it. But on average, if you are doing the business model that we're doing, which is garage sale, estate sale, Facebook marketplace flips for profit on eBay, if you're good at it, you should be selling about 1% of your inventory. So that's something we've been tracking since day one. So if you look at those numbers, you can see that the buildup is there. So if you have 800 listings that are active, you should be selling about 8 items a day. But it takes a long time to build that up. It takes a long time to go from 50 to 150 quality listings. I'm not talking about garbage listings. You can do garbage listings all day, CDs without any covers, video games for $5. You can do those garbage listings all day and get 5,000, listings, but it's all garbage. Getting up to 800, 900 active, good quality listings is very challenging. But that's the main reason why our first 7 months and our second 7 months are different. Plus the experience that Melinda talked about.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Hi, Anfisa.
Hey, Anfisa.
Yeah, I wanted to say hi to Far North Thrift is here, Profit Monsters, and Gilbert is here. He asked a question about what did you first realize about pots and pans flip well? You guys talked about that a little bit earlier, but it must have came in late.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought a big collection of rearware, and I looked them up individually. They were selling about $20 or $30 a piece for the smaller ones, and I ended up paying like $6 a piece for them. So it's just like anything. Every single category, and this is something that people have to realize, every single category, whatever it may be, electronics, toys, shoes, clothes, whatever, it doesn't matter. Most of it is worthless, and most of it is garbage. Your job as a reseller is to find those items in those categories that are of value and resell them. There are thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of garbage pots and pans listings on eBay that don't sell because there's no demand for them. So it's your job to identify those brands. And we actually, for you guys in the chat, we have a pots and pans video. It's 30 minutes. And that video itself has put thousands of dollars in people's pockets because we cover some of the best brands. We cover shipping them, cleaning them, identifying them, measuring them, etc. So check that out on our channel if you like it.
Awesome. I think I saw it was either on Instagram or YouTube, and you guys talked about being consistent and have a consistency with listing items for the algorithm. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, I don't believe in the algorithm. I believe in supply and demand principles. So if you're selling items that are in demand, you're going to attribute that and say, well, the algorithm is favoring me. If you're selling items that are not in demand, you're going to say, well, the algorithm is not favoring me.
Well, I do think it helps a little bit. I think they do like to see you have a consistent store. I mean, I don't know exactly what the algorithm is, but if you do list a lot, like if you take a bunch of photos and then you're just very, okay, I'm going to get them up, and you dump a lot in, you do see that about maybe a few days to maybe like a week or two later, you do see your sales really pick up. But that's also because you have more inventory
Yeah.
as well. So your 1% is more. So you're naturally increasing sales. I think it's just good to be consistent as a general business practice, though, in general, regardless of the algorithm, because it keeps you having fresh inventory. It keeps new things popping up for searches.
Yeah, there's, as far as the algorithm goes, it's relatively straightforward. New listings get a boost in views. The amount of activity you put in your store raises the search engine optimization of your store. If you sell mostly new items, you're going to get better sales than if you're selling old items that are used. Those are kind of the fundamentals, but continuously adding things to your store that are in demand is going to add to your sales.
Okay, cool. Can you guys give us your like top 3 tips if someone was new into reselling or someone was kind of doing it part-time? Maybe they're doing $1,000 or $2,000 a month, but they want to get to the point where they're making $9,000, $10,000 a month in sales. Give me your top 3 tips that would help somebody get to that point.
I have one that I think is really important.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Do it if you really like it. That's my biggest tip. Like, if you don't like it, if you don't like shipping, if you don't like customer service, if you don't like labeling, if you don't like sourcing, like maybe you like sourcing but you don't like listing, if you have a passion for it, don't force it. Go find something else to do. There are so many ways to make money in this country. Don't do something just because somebody else is doing it. Like, actually enjoy doing it. If you don't like it, just stop. Don't stop wasting your time.
Then I would say be consistent, because we do say consistency is winning a lot. We preach that. So it's just a system of, you do go thrifting, because some people confuse thrifting regularly with being lucky, and that's not the same thing. We find a lot of good things to sell because we're constantly thrifting. So be consistent in your thrifting patterns, and then make sure you list them. Make sure you get that stuff up, because a lot of people love the shopping part, and it's the listing part that is difficult for them. So set a time, like Drew and I like watching Thursday Night Football and listing stuff. That's an easy schedule to make. And what's the third one? Got one left.
I guess so. What we say consistency, passion.
Buy what sells.
Yeah, I mean that goes back to the demand principle. So if you haven't seen that video, we posted it. It's our most popular one so far. It's the eBay hack that helped us sell over 90,000. You have to understand the supply and demand principle of any business, especially reselling. I think those are pretty good tips. But again, don't do it if it doesn't bring you joy. Don't do it, because the money is not worth it if you're stressed out.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. There's a lot of people that they enjoy the thrifting part, enjoy the shopping part, but not so much the listing and customer service, shipping, and the stuff. Sometimes the items will come home and they'll just sit in a death pile and not get listed. That's the big disconnect. Go ahead.
Anyone that wants to move to Grand Rapids and work for us as a shopper, come on over. We'll definitely hire you, because that's one thing that I really don't care for at all is the actual thrifting part. Like, it's enjoying to find stuff, but I'd rather just process it. So if you like shopping but don't like the rest of it, come work for Hustin Hooks. We pay a fair wage.
Okay, cool. So I got a question for you. You said when I think I messaged you the other day, how many hours you work at your full-time job? You work a 12-hour shift the other day?
I have a very flexible schedule. I work 40 hours a week. I'm always working. So it's all. So I manage food safety. See you soon, Drew. I manage food safety programs for Cisco Corporation. Cisco Corporation is the world's largest food distributor. So what I do is I'm constantly working because I have to be involved. It's a 24-hour operation. As far as office hours, it's flexible.
Well, what I was saying is that if you're still able to keep your reselling business, make your YouTube videos, and then still be able to work a full-time job and spend time with your family, that's where I was going with that. That's all.
Like, how can I do it? Is that the question?
No, I just said that I was bringing it up because you say you still work a full-time job is what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's just no excuses. Doesn't matter. I mean, it just depends. Tadi's chewing up our kid's toy for attention. It just depends on what you want to do with your life. If you have set goals and you want to achieve them, then there aren't really that many obstacles. You can figure it out.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to say hi to Flip and Eric for stopping by in the chat. We got Far North Thrift here. We got Hannah. She says sourcing is the best part for sure. Profit Monsters Drew. He said he's on his way, so it looks like you got your employee coming to you right now. And,
we know he's experienced.
Ryan says I got to go put the kid to bed, but I love you, Hustlin Hooks. Yeah, total fangirl over here. So. Right. So, all right, guys. So I don't want to keep you too long because I know this is when you guys usually works at night. That's when you get all your listings and stuff done. So give me your final thoughts, and then we'll get you out of here because I know you guys got other stuff you got to do tonight.
Yeah.
I think final thoughts are that if you have a reason to work really hard for something, you'll make it work. And it's not impossible. We always say anyone can do this. Like anyone can really do this. Mostly it's just about finding the time and being consistent, but also disciplined in knowing business practices, right? Like you still have to track your stuff. So learn from people who know. We are always learning new things constantly and seeing how that fits in or can apply to our business. So don't give up if you hit a wall first, because we've phased out things that don't work for us. That's a totally normal business process. So keep going, just kind of flip gears, switch it up, and find what does work for you.
Yeah, the other thing too, what I like to say, I mean, don't compare yourself. There are certain people have certain natural gifts that you may or may not have. Certain people have certain drives, motivations, etc. It's very difficult to compare one human to another human. We also have some unfair advantages, right? I have a logistics background, manufacturing background. Monda has a supervisory background. She's educated. I'm educated. So there's a lot of things that have happened in the last 30 years of our lives that have led us to this point in our lives, having good family at home, having, being in a loving family, et cetera, et cetera. So don't compare yourself to us. If you take away anything from us, is that we're here for you and we want to support you and we want you to do well. We're here to answer questions if people have them. But it's up to you what you want. You have one life. You want to spend it being happy, or do you want to spend it doing something you don't like? That's the choice and the privilege that we have living in this country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like you said, there's a bunch of different ways that you can make money. My thing is you just got to get started, and you're going to get better at it. You're going to get better at taking photos. You're going to get better at listing. You're going to get better at shipping. You're going to get better at being nice to customers when they're being mean to you. You just got to get started and get moving and just keep the momentum going. That's the thing. You just got to get started. We have one more question and then I'll let you guys go. It says, question, if you have a special vehicle for your reselling venture, what would it be?
That's a fun question. I'm going to buy a pretty big pickup next because of our future plans, and we have some property to tend to. We need a larger vehicle, but I don't know. I think like a Sprinter van from Mercedes or Ford, like those are obviously perfect because you can load them up.
Yeah, I'd like hatchback, but if I could get like a heavy duty, I would. If I could, I'd get a Suzuki that Fisa was looking at in Alaska. I'm not going to go that far for a car. And I really like those throwback Ford Broncos they're doing, which I never thought I would like a Bronco, but there you are. There you have it. I would get that. I could pull a trailer full of goods with that thing.
Yeah, if you guys get a chance to check out Hustlin Hook's channel, they do what sold videos every week and show you guys what they're selling, what they paid for it, how much the item sold. So they're pretty open with showing you guys that. I just wanted to say hi to some people in the chat. We got Cali Reseller Lewis. We got Far North Thrift. We got Hannah here. And we got the Hustin Reseller and Drew from Profit Monsters and Low Star Picker. So anyways, thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I'm going to link their channel down below. If you guys want to check out their YouTube channel, it's called Hustlin Hooks. Where can they find you at again on Instagram and YouTube?
Hustlin Hooks on both.
Yeah,
Got it.
Hustlin Hooks on both. DM us if you guys are running into something that you need some help with. Just DM us and we'll do our best to help you and guide you in the right direction.
Got it. We appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll have you guys back on again soon, right? Have a great night. Thank you.
Everybody for tuning in, and thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Thank you. We appreciate you guys. Bye.
Thank you so much. Later.
Have a good night.
Bye.